and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. For 2024, all Land Cruisers in the US are 4-cylinder turbos with the hybrid system. They put out something like 329 horsepower, but the torque is where it really shines because it's like 468, 469, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but I'll put it up on the screen. So the hybrid system adds a ton of torque to it, and you notice that. So when you're driving, it just feels like it's effortless to accelerate, and especially towing. Be sure to watch the towing video as well, because it just seems so effortless to accelerate even while towing because there's so much low end torque coming from that hybrid system and the 4-cylinder turbo. Of course, this one is the first edition, so it's gonna have a bunch of little doodads and stuff that aren't available or are options on others, but are standard. For example, the roof rack, the mud flaps. There are just a bunch of other things in here that are standard on this first edition that you may not get on others. And one silly thing I want to talk about, you guys know how much I hate fog lights that aren't fog lights. So the Land Cruiser, you have to have the headlights on in order to turn the fog lights on, but you can actually change the color of the fog lights. So right now they're yellow, and if we go and hit this button in here, right here, now the fog lights are going to be white. So I do like having the yellow fog lights. The yellow's a little bit easier on your eyes, especially in weather like this where it's rainy and snowy and all of that. It's mad at me because I have the headlights on. But anyway, having the yellow fog lights generally just a little bit easier on the eye. There we go. So there's that 4-cylinder turbos here on the left. You can see the high voltage lines there. And actually this thing is really easy to work on. So you can see right on top, you've got your spark plugs, your coils. The turbos on these are really similar to the turbos on the V6, where it's just a standard turbo. It doesn't have all these fancy variable geometry functions and stuff like that. It's just a kind of a normal turbo, which means good reliability and durability. These engines are fairly new, so we don't have like really good reliability information yet, but they seem to be really well built, and Toyota's made a specific or an intent to make these reliable by using reliable parts and more simple parts, despite being a complex hybrid turbo system. Tires are 265/70 R18s. There they are, 265/70 R18s, and they're Michelin LTX Trails. So I'll post a few pictures of a GX. I'm hoping to get another one to test sometime, but this one was just somebody I know. I was able to drive a little bit. But the GX Over Trail Plus comes with much more aggressive tires. These are an all-terrain, but really Michelin's all-terrains are the most mild all-terrains you can get. This vehicle's heavy, so if we look here, I'm gonna have to do some math. Payload is 1,100 pounds. The gross vehicle is 68, so it weighs 5,700 pounds thanks to the hybrid system and all that. It's heavy, and these tires just aren't that aggressive. I don't know. I don't prefer them for a vehicle this heavy. And I noticed even in the rain and stuff, I was sliding around just a little bit, and they're worn. I mean, they probably have the 10,000 miles. I'm sure the original tires that are on it, so they're a little bit worn down, but still, I wasn't really impressed with the tires. One thing I just noticed, all the first editions get the rock rail that protects, obviously, that portion of the vehicle. It's mounted onto the frame, so you'll see a lot of vehicles with rock rails, and the rock rails are actually mounted to the body. If you hit that rock rail, there's a good chance that you'll be denting the body as well. All right, so here on the back, you can open the rear window with this button, or down here in the center, you have the button to open the hatch. On the right, there's a button to lock it. They're slightly different shapes, so you can feel the difference between them. And then as this opens up, I want you to look at the rear view camera, It is offset to the left, which is just fine in most conditions. Even backing up to the connect to a hitch, it was pretty good. It is a little bit unique. You can see it from an angle, but they have programmed it correctly. We've seen issues in the past with other vehicles where it's off center and they didn't program it correctly, and backing up to a hitch actually misaligns you rather than lining you up. So this one's done well. Funny thing, this is 2 rows, but there are cup holders and USB chargers back here in the rear. You'll see that's for the 3-row version. Because of the hybrid, you get battery packs right here taking up space. The spare tire sticks down a little more and is a little more angled than the GX. I didn't get images of that. I should have when I had them side by side. Jack's still in there. This one seems to be missing some of the jack components underneath there, but I think that's where they would normally be. And then there's 2 little cubbies on the sides right here that can open up as well. And on this side, this cubby is like an extra shallow, but you take that out and then you can access the 12-volt battery, which is in there. So on the GX, all of this, because the GX is not hybrid, all of this is extra storage. The load floor is lower. You just have extra space. There's no battery in here because that's under the hood where the hybrid components were. Just a lot more options on the GX as far as that goes. It also has the 120 volt outlet, but it's actually 2400 watts, which is more than most. So most of them are like 1000 watts. 2400 watts, that'll run a microwave, no problem. So it's pretty good. Sorry, I'm freezing out here today. So here in the middle row, does have the center armrest with cup holders. This one does not have heated seats back here, but it does have its own climate control, USB-Cs right there, and a 12 volt. So it does have like decent amenities back here. Not too worried about not having heated seats. I don't know if that's an option. I know the GX has it. Again, you get some first edition unique items here. A couple cup holders in the door and just a regular window. There's no window shade on the Land Cruiser like there is on the GX. Another thing I do like are the vents up here. If you have kids in rear-facing car seats, having the vents up here, you can actually get the air to them. And it's the same on the back row if you had a 3rd row. For the vehicles that have the vents down here, you have a rear-facing car seat. It's hard to keep the temperature correct for that child because the car seat blocks that. And speaking of car seats, I did try to fit 3 in here, and actually 2 of them were these boosters and then 1 rear-facing car seat, and it's not wide enough. So it was quite a pain. I did put the 2 boosters here next to each other, and the 1 booster here would unbuckle. It would hit that and unbuckle this seat there. That was kind of annoying while driving. It's just barely too narrow for 3 car seats, and especially if you had regular car seats, not the boosters, it's going to be really hard to fit all 3 across there. And as we move into the front here, this one does have manually adjustable thigh support, and then decent adjustability here. You can raise and lower, move back and forth, adjust the lumbar in and out, but you can't go up and down, and obviously the normal recline. But up here, these headrests, a lot of vehicles are this way, but you can see how much they lean forward compared to the seat. For people who prefer to sit up more, you know, more upright with better posture. Well, I don't know if that's better posture or not, but anyway, people who like to sit more upright, this headrest will push your head forward and kind of make you look down. Kind of makes your neck hurt even. It's not my favorite design, and I'm guessing the use case is fewer people are sitting in that upright position versus more reclined. And so when you're more reclined, this headrest makes it so your head's looking forward out the window rather than up. But anyway, it's something that maybe they could add adjustability to. Down here on the left is a trailer brake controller. Not a great spot. The GX has it on this side, still not a great spot. You can't see it while you're driving. It would be nice to be up here. These vehicles aren't designed for heavy towing regularly anyway, but if they're gonna add that in there, I would prefer they have it somewhere you can get to it. Lots of buttons and features here, automatic headlights, the fog lights, interior lighting, and then the rear parking sensors, you can turn them off there. This is to turn on that outlet in the rear of the vehicle. And then, which, yeah, that's what I thought. The vehicle has to be on for that. Your fuel door, which is huge. I'm guessing this fuel door is for diesel vehicles as well. This one specifically says premium unleaded, no diesel. But if you had a diesel vehicle, I'm guessing there would be a diesel exhaust tank fill right there, which is why you can get the really long fuel door. It does have the power adjust on the steering wheel, 2 memory seat settings, your usual mirror and all that kind of stuff controls here. One thing I do like quite a lot are these vents. Right here, if you twist it to the left, it opens, twist it to the right, it closes, and then you can point them whatever direction you want, which is pretty cool. And you can do the same with these ones in the middle. And forgive me on this one, it does say it needs maintenance, but it actually doesn't. It was just done before I picked it up, so if that alert pops up, don't worry about it. There is a decent amount of adjustability on the gauges. It's not super easy to change. I set this one up for towing, so I have all the information. Coolant temp, or oil temp, tranny temp, coolant temp, battery, oil pressure, and the fuel mileage. And then here, I changed this one because it had a low tire pressure, so I brought this one up, but I had the trailer brake controller information there. MBG, you can, and again, you can adjust all these. And then here, this is how much the hybrid. You can see the battery. That bar will move as you add force to it. And then over here is the boost pressure. Anyway, you can adjust those and put whatever you want on them. All the other features here are easy to reach. So this is what this thing was more designed for, and it becomes obvious. Your 4-wheel drive selectors right here, center diff lock, rear diff lock, anti-sway bar disconnect, traction control, all that stuff's right here. Your drive modes, crawl control, all that kind of stuff. That's all really easily viewed and reached, you know, to engage. Your tow haul button is kind of hidden down here, and your trailer brake controller is kind of hidden down here. So it's obvious the focus on this vehicle is for the off-road stuff. In some of the vehicles, the Tacoma and stuff, they put that up here, but for this one, it's down here. And I think either location would be just fine. So up here, this one does have the sunroof. Again, a standard feature on the first edition, and you can see the rearview mirror is a video as well. Up front, heated and cooled seats, automatic climate control, all that kind of stuff. Surround view cameras, which are pretty nice. And it does have the feature where if you roll forward or backwards, it will show you what's underneath the vehicle. We'll go ahead and do that. So here you can see, and it's showing what was underneath the vehicle as you go over that. So, and it'll do the same in reverse. So it's nothing crazy. A lot of vehicles have that now, but these cameras are much higher quality than previous Toyota cameras. And if you hit this button right here, it actually washes the rear view camera and this rear view camera, which is a nice feature to have as well. USB ports up here. This one actually connects to the infotainment system. Those two are for charging, wireless charging here. Plenty of features. I do like the little rope design thing in there, and the glove box. So good storage actually in the glove box. It's really not too bad overall. I like the layout of it. There have been others like the 2nd gen Tundra, 2nd gen Sequoia. The layout just isn't great. In this thing, the layout is really good. One thing that's awesome is you don't get much of a center console because of the cool box. So for me, I actually don't like it. But if you do like the cool box, you have this little pocket here, and all of this is kind of taken up by the refrigerator components. I would rather just have a full center console. It does actually have the Land Cruiser here as well, which the GX doesn't have. On the freeway, the Land Cruiser is really quite smooth. You do get wind noise, especially from the roof rack, it seems. It's not as bad as the roof rack on the Lexus GX Over Trail Plus, with that really high and just high profile roof rack. That one seems to create more noise. And the boxy shape of the Land Cruiser also gives a bit of noise. Overall, the suspension's pretty soft, and so it's excellent for cruising on the freeway, but as you start getting into corners and stuff, it wanes a bit. There is a bit of brake dive, but for just general highway cruising, it's very comfortable to just knock out hundreds of miles at a time. thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. Overall, it's really quite a nice vehicle. The hybrid system works well. It has some weird quirks that many hybrids do, where it's trying to decide, does it need the hybrid, does it need the gas engine, and it gets a little jerky. And anyway, it does some of those weird things, but overall it drives really nice. It's a great highway cruiser. It's not so sporty if you're getting into the corners and curving through mountain roads. It's going to lean a bit and feel a little squishy, but overall it's really a nice vehicle for basically all driving conditions. I towed 5,000 pounds with it, handled that no problem, and just overall an excellent vehicle. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like it, and comment down below whether you liked it or not. Comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and thanks again. Have a great day.